Yo, what is going on, everyone, and welcome back. So we're going to be talking about strings, how to get those inputted and generate those onto the console. And a more professional term is we're going to give it some input and we're going to have the computer generate an output with a string that we can read. And we're going to do a few other things. So first things, to low out the basics, you save all, you save. What you want to do is, this is your debug, so you can debug, but what you want to do is you want to right click, go to add, new item, and we're going to add a C file, and we're just going to call it main. Okay, that is our main entry point to our application. If you ever do any reverse engineering, you're always going to start at the main entry point sometimes, but that depends on what you're looking for in the code, what functionality, or maybe there's a specific algorithm that an external library that you're dynamically loading or something like that you want to find, or you're statically loading, whatever the case may be, it's relevant to that case. Now, in order to get started, you want to use shift and then that's a hashtag symbol, and we always want to include, so Windows have what we call libraries. Visual Studio does, and it's based off the SDK. And in order to access these libraries, which if you're really good and you're a veteran, you can create your own libraries and use your own, like create your own APIs, whatever. But for this demonstration, we're just going to use the standard Windows library. So what we want to do is we have two little arrows down here at the bottom. If we hit those, they look like two little bracket arrows, sort of similar. I don't know the name of some things, so I just go with the flow on how I learn. Remember, I'm self-taught, so I might do things completely different than other people do. You want to type in Windows, and you grab the Windows header. Now, I'm not going to do you anything with IOStream because I think printf is just an easier method to print a string on the console, better or simpler in my approach. So we're just going to do the same thing, and we're going to include our stdio.header. Now, if we done it this way, well, a lot of times we can put this in here, right? For this example, we will, because I'm not going to confuse you yet about headers. Well, we'll start with that when we get into the next episode, which will be variables. These are just a few episodes. It's just introducing you to the basics. It's no necessary major incredible milestone and a bunch of shit you have to know. These are the basics that can get you going and start coding. And we'll have another series that'll be the intermediate level, and then we'll have another series which will be more of a professional level, which by then you're going to be getting into some really complex shit. And just to make that tutorial series for me alone is, I feel for you in a way, but it's not bad as it seems once you get these levels out of the way, right? So think of it like an Ninja Gaiden. You're building up a level, you're getting better, you're learning, you're adapting, your reflexes are getting better. You just gotta grind for it. So anyway, what we're going to do int main, and we just have these little parentheses, I guess you would call them. I don't know. Like I said, I've just done things my way. And we're not gonna, int main's not gonna take any parameters. We're just going to we'll just return 0 now with a semicolon. Now, what really gets you kind of confused is, what's the return 0? Well, the return 0 indicates that once the application or program has finished and done its course successfully, when the user exits the program, it returns 0, and boom, it's just a success statement, really, that the application ran successfully towards the end of its cycle, and there it was. And that's basically what return 0 is. If we had any parameters inside of here, or any variables in some sense, we can maybe return something different along with the return 0, I think. But I might be getting .c and C++, confused and intertwined, because the two languages do two different things particularly different than each other. Some they do particularly the same. They haven't really changed much from vision to vision, but as far as I'm concerned, there's a lot of things that have been deprecated once C++ became its standpoint. So now what we're going to do, in order to print something to the screen, we need to say printf, okay? And then with them all little parentheses, and inside we're going to put some, I don't know what that symbol means. I'm sorry, I'm telling you, quotes, my bad. I'm sorry, I don't know those specific names. I could, if you're curious, just research them, but I just never cared. I kind of looked at it, learned, and went my own way. So inside of this, we're going to call these double quotes. Be easier to call them that. Probably what they are. We're going to say hello PC, right? Now, now we're going to put a semicolon right at the end of each one. That's real important. If our code, we'll say we don't put one, what's going to happen? Well, if you notice, we get an error down here. And it's expected that. So if we actually, say we just compile this and see what it tells us. If you notice, there were build errors. We'll say no to succeed. If we did, it'll just close out and just make us redo. But if you say syntax error missing before return, well, before is before return, right? So there we go. So when we hit that, then we compile, we're going to see that it's going to give us hello PC in our console. So it's really simple, straightforward. Now I want to show you something because it's different from Visual Studio inside the main IDE. So if we actually go into where this is located, so we're going to learn how to do that now. That's all I want you to know is a string. That's a string. That's all I want you to know, okay? It's just a way we can print a string. We can create strings and few other different ways, but we're going to focus just on printf because that's a simplified way to create a string. If you go down to hello OC or whatever your project file is, by the way, that's your project file, that's your solution, and that's your subfolders within the project directory. If you go to open folder in File Explorer, you go back one, x64 debug. Now I want to show you something that happens. You don't need to know about the program database file. That's irrelevant. Just focus on this. If we double click it, well, say we want to see our string. Well, we keep double clicking it and it's not loading. It's not doing anything. Well, why? Well, it's because it's automatically closing. In the IDE, it gives us an input so that we can close it when we want to, but outside of it, we can't. Well, how do we fix that? Well, it's simple. Once we get our string out there, we do system, and that. It's almost like printf, so to speak, but this time we just put in here called pause in lowercase letters. And then if we save and we build again, we'll get hello PC, but here's really strange. I want to show you this. If you look, it's not got a new line, right? Press any key should be below hello PC, right? Well, let's fix that. So right here inside, right next to PC, we're going to do, I think it's like /n, I think, or /n. And what that's going to do, that's going to generate us a new line. And there it is. So now we have hello PC, and then it gives us a new line underneath it. So if we had multiple strings, so let's say if we just copy this, and we just want 1 and then 2, and so we want this one to say hello and this one to say hello P, right? Let's just redo it. Now we have hello PC, hello P, and then press any key to continue. So once we do that, hit continue, and that's going to give us that because of course we're in the IDE. But if we actually go here and we actually octafresh, but we double click it, hey, now we have a console up. So now we can see our strings. So now when we get done, we just hit enter twice to close it, and we're good to go. That easy, that simple, straightforward, and that's how we generate strings. So thank you for watching, and the next episode will be variables, and then after that will be functions, and then that's where I'm going to leave you on the basics. And then we'll go into the intermediate. We'll get a little more in depth with these again. And then we'll focus a little bit on potential arrays, loops, different things like that. But that's for intermediate. Let's just focus on this right here, okay? All right, see you in the next episode.